Good morning. Today we'll be covering in our lecture, Chapter 5, Communicating Across Culture. This chapter we have already covered before, but we'll go through it back quickly because of the final exam. As we explained before, this chapter has some important objectives, and each objective can be a question by itself. Explain why having culture awareness and avoiding stereotypes is important. Explain why global agility in business is important. Explain why diversity is important. Explain how our values and beliefs affect our responses to other people. Discover how the global use of English affects business communication. Discover how to use non-verbal communication across cultures, or construct your written communication to meet the needs of global audiences. Okay, first thing, layer culture awareness. أو الوعي الثقافي. How to be aware of the culture, or the importance of being aware of the culture that I'm working in. أنا بشتغل فيها, where I'm working, I have to know and to realize where I'm working and what difference I have in terms of culture in the people that I have. A culture is shared set of attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, and customs based on and learned by members of the community. إذن الثقافة هي مجموعة من المواقف والأمور التي نؤمن بها والسلوكيات والعادات اللي احنا تعلمناها من المكان اللي احنا نشأنا فيه. وده طبعا this reflects our reaction and action in the place I'm working in due to such culture I have. A culture influences the way we are acting, speaking, thinking, perceive appearances and the behavior of others. Anyone is shaped by culture. Based on the 21st century means working with reserve or a diverse group of employees working in a global supply chain, selling products to customers from a diverse culture in the country, selling to multiple countries outside your country. All such things or such activities, it is available in any community or any business community. So successful communication begins with the assumption that no one culture is better than the other. But this is something is essential that we have to learn. So the successful communication اللي هو التواصل الناجح يبقى based on believing that I am not better than the others or others are not better than me. We are all equal. What differentiates us is the quality of work or the knowledge we have, and that's it. And we should not even differentiate ourselves accordingly, but this level only that counts. Rather than that, we should not differentiate each other or make differences between the people we work with inside the same place. The successful intercultural communication. And this could be a question, by the way. ممكن ده سؤال يجي لنا في الامتحان. How can we assure a successful intercultural communicator, or how to be successful in our culture? How to make our culture better and successful in terms of communication. But we will be speaking about such points. Aware of the values or beliefs, languages, and participate in their own culture. we knowing the practices of such different things like values, beliefs, or languages, knowing about the people I'm working with, knowing about the difference, having an idea about each and every different people we're working with, this will give me the ability in order to be ready to communicate. Sensitive to differences among individuals within their own culture. Yani we have to be sure that we have to respect the people that are different to us, and to make sure that we are not putting barriers, putting our aim in order to cooperate and collaborate, not to make barriers and difference between each of us. Aware of the values, beliefs, languages, and practices in each other culture, aware that their preferred values and behaviors are not necessarily better or right. As we said, that other cultures, other people from other countries or from other locations or other age or other sex or other color, they are not better than us, or we are not better than them. And this is a golden rule we have to keep always. Interested in cultures of others and willing to ask questions about preferences and behavior. When you are really aware that the success of your communication will be based on interaction and believing in others and willing to listen and to learn from them, this will give you an edge in order to be successful in such relationship. Really, we have to be aware that when you want to succeed in such thing, you have to have the desire or the intention that I want to know about these people. How do they act? What do they believe? What are their values? What are their main values that they keep? Do they have certain مثلا traditions that they are different than us? So learning about such thing will open channels of communication and make people near each other. Flexible and open to adopting some of their own preferences and behavior. يعني مثلا when you work when you work in a culture, in a company that they have different nationalities, different kind of people, old people and young people, different genders, male and female. And you you are invited in a party, and then you can find a Mexican food from Mexican person. So you will try this food because it's different, because it's not your culture. This is a way in order to be near the people, to try whatever they are doing, not necessarily to go back and be a Mexican guy, but you are just trying, and you are flexible to adapt some of their own preferences and behavior. Aware that English, as the most common language for business communication, is not the first language of the vast majority of people who speaks English. So meaning that in spite that the English is the #1 language in terms of communication worldwide in business, but it's not the #1 in terms of people they are in as a population. We have China, for instance, 1.5 billion people speaking Chinese in different slangs, or in India or in Arabic. So we have hundreds of millions of people are speaking in different languages, but it is not common worldwide in terms of business. Now we have to differentiate here. This is a question we can get in the multiple choice or discuss. The real difference between intercultural competence and ethnocentrism. We have two kinds of of competence. Competence meaning the ability to be better, or um, the capabilities. So people, they sometimes they are interculture competences, meaning that um, they are capable of working in different cultures, and they like to work with others, working with different people, and they are ready to communicate with different people. So these kind of interculture competencies. الكفاءات بين الثقافات هي set of cognitive, effective, and behavioral skills and characteristics that supports effective and appropriate interaction in the variety of culture contexts. The other side of the coin, or the different kind of interculture, or for people that they communicate, اللي هي ايه opposite, which is called the ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism, they are different than the interculture. Interculture, they are open. Ethnocentrism, they are closed, meaning that they believe in their kind, their culture, their origin, and they don't want to be open to other cultures. But assuming one's own culture is the norm, while judging different approaches and behavior as non-standard. So you believe that your culture is better, your culture is the standard, other cultures are not good, but this is what is called ethnocentrism. This is a question we can find in the multiple choice. Caution, when pushing too far, the difference between cultures can turn into stereotypes, which can be just as damaged as the ignorance. And stereotype, as we said, what's the meaning of stereotype? Generalizing. When I see, let's say, this person from this country is a thief. This doesn't mean that all people coming from this country are thieves. This person is lazy and he's coming from this country. This doesn't mean that all people from this country are lazy, but this is a stereotyping, and we should not stereotype people, or we have to judge people according to such kind of rule, which is very wise. Global agility. What's the meaning of agility? Flexibility. Global agility is not about memorizing list of do's and don'ts. It is learning about our own culture, sensitivities, and preferences, and then developing a willingness to relax customary procedures to allow for new ways of interacting. And for instance, مثلا, in the food business, we can find that the origin country of the food, of the brand, they are producing a kind of hamburger for, let's say, the United States. But when they went overseas in India, they have sold a different kind of burger because Indians does not eat cow meat. So they made for them, let's say, low goat meat. When they went to the Muslim countries, they had to place the word halal, meaning that the animals or the cows were slaughtered according to the Islamic way. So this is adaptation. This is the agility. This is flexibility in business, not doing the same thing everywhere or the way that we are doing in our country. Outsourcing or offshoring. This also, it's a common question you can find in the multiple choice or discussion. Outsourcing, meaning that you can be asked to go for a company in order to provide them the services you want. You are specialized, let's say, in doing or providing services for the companies, like giving them the communication with the customers. So so you can provide companies by people who can make a service online. This kind of service, you have the ability to do it. You can, if any company wants to do such kind of service, they ask you to provide them with such service. So this is the outsourcing. They are you are providing the product or the service for them. So this is kind of the outsourcing. The people asking you in order to get the source from you, and when this kind of business finished, you are not an employee for them, but you are doing this service permanently. Not not permanent. It's a temporary. بتعملها مؤقتا مش دايما. You are doing it temporarily and not permanently. Outsourcing, sending corporate work to other companies. This is a outsource. Offshoring, the whole business is steered or it's sent to another country and opening the whole operation in the other country. This is what's called the offshoring. Right. Diversity in North America. This is an example that we have discussed in our lecture, saying that we have different kinds of people working in our organization. We can find different genders, different religions, different race, different social class, different ages, and so on. Embracing diversity اللي هو قبول التنوع. أنا بقبل التنوع، إن التنوع في الكالتشر. Accepting the differences in the culture. This does not mean pretending to be colorblind. Nor does it mean that culture factors have no bearing on how we think or feel. This means acknowledging difference in experience without judging the value or merit for individuals who have different backgrounds. Beyond stereotype. Stereotype, we said, making things common, generalizing. But learning about different culture is important for understanding different kinds of people we work with. Treat people as individuals and not representative of the culture group. So if I know someone is coming from a company where all people there are lazy, that doesn't mean that this person is lazy. When I receive some new colleagues coming from another country, and this country, it is well known that these people are aggressive, that doesn't mean that this person is aggressive. This is a stereotyping. I should not generalize. Look at individuals' qualifications, knowledge, quality, and experience, and don't stereotype or generalize. Patterns of acceptable behavior. We may not be aware of basic features of our own culture until coming into contact with people who do things different. We have here, مثلا, what is called the ways of looking at culture. We have what it's called the high context culture and the low context culture. In high context culture, we have here cultures or different countries that they are common in some particular things, like the implicit internalized rules or the indirect. Well, high context countries that they usually prefer to have their communication not with detailed speaking, maybe with action, maybe with body language, maybe with a smile, but not in detailed spoken or written explanation. So this is it's called implicit. And internalize rules, meaning that that such people in these countries they have a kind of pattern that they are always needing to communicate in a personal basis. They have the culture is something important for them, and also they are always indirect in their way of communication. These kind of people, اللي هي high context, اللي هي most information is inferred from social relationship, and the context little is explicitly conveyed. Example of culture of people in these kind of high context culture, people are living in the Middle East, Japan, Mexico, Greece, Arab country, and so these are more common in the Eastern countries or the Middle East or the people living in Mexico. Low context اللي هي it's different بقى اللي هي opposite. اللي هي context is less important, most information is explicit, spelled out. Meaning that I will not understand you from what you look like or your reaction or your smile. I want things to be clearly by text or speech in order to be very sure that I understand you. But this is what explicit. We have clear rules and we have direct kind of communication, and such relation it is different than that available in the high context. Example of countries that are applying this, the West as a whole, like in مثلا America or in Germany or in England or in Canada. Hofstede 5 dimension, and this is a question in exam. You remember Hofstede 5 dimensions. Hofstede, he said he is one of the well-known writers and author in the management and leadership, and he said that we have different kinds of dimensions looking at culture by using the dimensions based on different ways. Like for instance, we have dimensions called power inequality. I can see the culture. Such culture is based on power. So the power is concentrated in the leader or in the on the the big person in the village or in the country. So the power is centralized in a person or a few people there. Or inequality meaning we don't have equal rights for every people. So we have to see such kind of culture, even there is a power in the hand of a person or few people, or is it equal? The power is equal for everyone. This is a dimension. Another dimension to see the culture layer individualism and collectivism. People in some cultures that they believe in individualism. People want to work individually and to build their own kind of business and to be capitalism and to work in an environment where there is freedom in trade and in lifestyle. While other cultures, they believe in collectivism, meaning the people, they are behind their countries and their country or the government, they are owning almost everything, and they are working inside an environment where people, they don't have the intention to be individual in their business or in their lifestyle. And also there is another way of looking to the culture. by seeing the culture, whether is it masculinity or femininity, meaning that some cultures, they believe in masculinity. So men comes first before women. Women will be secondary, or they will be second class, while the men are first class in the jobs, in the lifestyle, in their rights, while other countries, they have a common rights between both, or sometimes they are femininity. The females can have rights more than men, but this is kind of classification. Another classification, uncertainty or avoidance, meaning some cultures in their business, they believe in being cautious when they are doing business, meaning that when someone wants to do a deal in their business, they have to be very careful and to avoid any risk. So he is very keen to know the uncertainty in order to do a good decision. Like the culture, the Japanese culture, they are very cautious in deciding in their defining their goals in business and life. While sometimes in the West, in the American people, for instance, and we can find a different kind of culture where they don't care about the uncertainty and they don't avoid such thing based on the rule, the higher the risk, the higher the winning or the or gaining. So the more the risk, the more the gain. These kind of this kind of way of classifying cultures. The last thing is the long-term and short-term orientation. So in this part, the culture is divided either to believe in the long-term business relation or the short-term business relation, building the relationship between people. It will differ from a culture to another. Some cultures believe that we will know the other part of the other organization and just for a short term, and we don't care about the building a strong relationship with them, while others, they believe in a long-term based relationship and they build it and they keep on building such kind of orientation. Hofstede 5 dimensions. We can be asked to write about it. So you have to remember that we have such points to go through. Intersection of culture, national culture, this is your country, personal culture, this is you, organization culture, this is the organization where you work, and this is the center in the middle where you have to get the three of them in consideration while you are working in order to be sure that you will be succeeding in such a organization. طبعا, of course, when you want to write more about each slide, you have to go to the footnote I told you about, very important to go there. Values or beliefs or practices. Values often unconsciously form within our culture experience, affect our response to the people and situation. Beliefs, systems, and tradition affect business, communication, and business life. Everyday practices differ from culture to culture. Global English. English has transformed from national language into a lingua franca, meaning a common language used among speakers of other languages. English has a variety of possible usage, dialects, accents, and vocabulary. And then we go to the verbal and non-verbal communication. Verbal meaning communication using a speaking. I can speak to you by meeting you. I can speak to you over the phone. This is verbal. Non-verbal is communication without speaking, meaning I'm using body language or physical language or by postures, and this is called the non-verbal communication. التواصل بالكلام والتواصل بلغة الجسد. Listening is very important in our Listening to people is an indication that you are taking them serious. Reduce listening errors caused by culture gap and misinterpretation. Interpretation. When you listen to someone, meaning that you want to know from him, you respect him, you are focusing with him, and you are really interested of what he's saying. Otherwise, if I are not doing this, so it's an insult, it is neglecting, you are not caring, but this is important to remember. Listening is a very important. How to be a good listener? Paraphrase what speakers had said. To be a good listener, paraphrase, meaning that when someone tells you something, you told me that you want to go next month to this country. Is it right? So I am repeating again what I've listened or what I heard from him in order to be sure that what I heard is exactly what he spoke about, giving them a chance to correct your understanding. Number two, if you want to be a good listener, check your understanding at the end, especially with action items. Sorry. Write down key points that affect deadlines or ways the work will be evaluated. Meaning that you should not interrupt anyone speaking. Write points, and then when he finishes, you say, "Did you finish what you said? Can I comment?" And you comment whatever you wrote, and you write down the important figures. Sometimes you will listen to someone who's speaking about names, addresses, or dates, or values, whatever it is, things that it could be forgotten, you have to write it down. Don't ignore instructions or details you think are necessary. Write down everything and remember it in order to communicate with him later. Consider the other person's background and experience, but avoid applying stereotype. Meaning that when you are speaking to your boss, it is different than you're speaking to your coworker or your peer or your colleague. When you are speaking to someone who is in the same education level, it will be different than someone who is illiterate or someone who didn't go to a school. So we have to understand how to speak to others and also not to stereotype, meaning that maybe someone I am speaking with him, he didn't go to school, but still he's intelligent. I can speak with him clearly. And also maybe I can find someone he's graduated from the college, but unfortunately he does not have any communication skills or he has weak knowledge. So maybe I will stereotype, he's from the college, he understands everything, so I will speak with him clearly. No, you have to understand the person before you speak in order to get the skills of listening effectively. Body language, how can you communicate with the body language? With the eyes. When eye contact is very important. When you speak to someone, look to him and be focusing in order to reflect that you are interested in him and you are with him and you respect him. Physical expression, when he speaks about something nice, you smile. When he's speaking about something sad, you express your sadness. When you are surprised about what he's saying, you are surprised. So your face is expressing whatever he's saying. This will give you a strong communication tools, and the other part will agree that you are interested in what I'm saying. Gesture, meaning that you could you stand مثلا with a different position, you're doing some مثلا movement that it will express that you are not with him or you are not following him, or you are doing exactly what it's needed to be done by focusing and expressing and moving and nodding, and this will give you the strong communication skills. Personal space, not to be very near to the person or very far away. You have to be in the position where you are not insulting or annoying the person by being very near, or not to be very far in order to be in a good means of communication. Touch, sometimes shaking hands is very important, tapping on the shoulders or touching a person that he is not very happy, meaning the body language. Very important part of point, very easy to speak about, but don't forget it. We have two kinds of time. not all culture that respects time. Some cultures are respecting time. Monochronic culture focus on the local time. Polychronic culture focus on the relationship. Monochronic meaning that people that they are very they put the time as a factor that they have to respect very well, and they respect people that they respect time, that they are very cautious to come on time, work on time, do exactly what is needed. So a minute is 60 seconds, while the monochronic, someone can tell you, I will come to you afternoon, it could be 5-6 hours, so it's not accurate. So people, they are not time oriented, they are relationship oriented, so they are not accurate. Subcultures, they are time oriented. Subcultures, they have no means, or they don't respect time at all. Writing to international audience, culture preferences are also important in write documents. Germans مثلا appreciate technical data and scientific details. Most culture use more formal writing than the United States. Response time expectations may also be modified. Avoid idiomatic expressions. Yeah, when you speak to someone internationally, don't speak with terminologies or with scientific words that they are not clear to the other part. Write in native language unless you are extremely fluent in your audience. When you have the English as a good language, you can speak to the English person. If you have French as your third language, you cannot speak French well, don't complicate your French. Communicate with the language that you are perfect in order to reflect a good communication needs. Partner of documents or organization might need to be pattern of document organization might need to be modified. Negative messages may need more buffering, and requests may need to be indicated. Negative messages meaning when you communicate with someone and you want to tell him no, or you are not agreeing, you just have to do it in a proper way, in a means that don't insult him, give him a chance to know the reasons and respect his position. This is what we have covered in this chapter, and hopefully, inshallah, you will do a perfect exam, inshallah. This record, I will be sending it to you, everyone, in order to go through it again. Inshallah, good luck to everyone in your exams. Thank you so much.